Let's solve a linear system using Gaussian elimination. So suppose we want to solve the following linear system. So the first step is to write down the augmented matrix. You can do this by looking at the coefficients in front of the x1, the x2, the x3, and the x4, and then remember what it's equal to. And now we want to row reduce to push this matrix into echelon form. At this step, the row reduction algorithm tells you exactly what to do, and it's like the previous video. We compute the row reduction until we get it into echelon form. And now notice, the augmented matrix has a pivot column in its rightmost column. So the existence and uniqueness theorem tells us that the linear system is inconsistent. It has no solutions.